episode 100, 390. I'm here with the talented and beautiful Mary Roberts. I just want to say thank you for being a guest on my talk show.
Hi, Keith. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited.
Yeah, same here. The honor's all mine. And now, for people who want to know what my talk show is about, the whole point of my talk show is to show people that even with having a learning disability, I can still amount to something. And at the same time, I'm able to turn myself into an example for people out there dealing with any types of learning disabilities and disabilities. They should never give up and should prove to people you can still amount to something. You show them that labels do not dictate who you are and who you're going to be, so hashtag break the labels. So that being said, half hour, 36 minutes of your time. Say anything you want, freedom of speech, freedom of self-expression. And starting off, what can you tell us about yourself?
Well, I, as you mentioned, I'm an actor, but I am also recently have been a producer for the first time and an educator at a historical farm that's a county park. So I am someone who enjoys working with animals and kids and acting in the theater and everything about that. There's a lot.
Well, you can give long answers too if you like. You can
Okay.
do whatever you like. I'm going to ask you some easy questions, then some hard-hitting ones. And then I'm going to pass the show over to you after we take a quick commercial break. And the first thing I do want to point out for our fans, don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel and yours. And our goal is for all our interviews to reach 100. So follow us on social medias. The links will be in the description box. Hit that notification link to see when new episodes are up. I just want to do a little plug for that. Still working on it. So the first question I was going to ask you is, when you were in high school, did you do any sports? And when you were in college, were you studying or a party animal?
Okay. When I was in high school, I did track and field. And I did... Yeah, that's the only sport I did in high school. And then in college, I was not a party animal. I was a studier.
What about in track? Did you ever want to become a professional trackist? What would you say, tracker or trackist?
I don't know. A professional track athlete, I guess.
There you go. I have no idea what a track is.
Or runner. I don't know either, because I really only did it because I enjoyed getting out there and having regular exercise. But I didn't do it because I was an amazing runner, and I didn't do it because I saw a future in it. But I enjoyed being on the team, and I liked having regular exercise.
Oh, absolutely. Now, was there any bloopers, or did you guys ever cause any pile-ups, or have you seen any pile-ups?
Major bloopers for those years. You mean on the team?
Yes. Well, in general.
I'm trying to think. Trying to think of a good one. I might have to come back to that.
And what about during your college years? Did you ever get the chance to do one of those human pyramids? You're not into the whole human pyramid stuff.
Oh, it's funny. I didn't do a human pyramid. There's a couple things. One, I tried out, I did one season of the women's rugby team at college, just to see what it was about. I thought I might have fun with it and make friends. And it was really, really intimidating because I'm not much of a head-to-head contact sport kind of person. I'm not super competitive in terms of being physically competitive. And so when I was on that team, and if I had the ball, I was terrified because I would just have to run and wait for someone to tackle me. And I don't think I got very far anytime. I was in a few games, but that was it. After that season, I didn't go back.
Well, as a runner, I bet you can run, first off, you can run laps around me. And for your teammates, you can be, or you one of the fastest runners on the team?
Maybe. But I think I was so scared of the actual, what would come next, the actual like getting tackled thing, that I didn't think about running very long. I was just like, ah. I made a few steps and then gave up, I think.
Did you guys ever wear one of those shoulder pads, or never no shoulder pads?
No, it wasn't padded or anything like that. We wore maybe a mouthpiece, like a mouth guard, and cleats and shin guards. Nothing on our shoulders.
So basically, when you all huddle up and you slam into each other, you're actually doing full contact with no padding.
Yeah. Yeah, which is probably, it makes me lucky that I didn't have any major injuries, I guess.
What about the pyramid stuff? Did he ever do one? Did he ever want to do one?
No, okay. When I was in high school, I didn't mention this. I was on the cheerleading team, and I think I enjoyed that because like it's a way of like another like performance type thing. Like
Right.
I'm an actor, and I enjoyed doing something like that. And so I was one of the people that would fly in the air and all of that. I never did like a full-on human pyramid.
Would he be up for it?
Yeah, sure.
I love that stuff. I'm a loser.
No, I think it could be fun if you get everyone involved.
Hey, we put it on our things to do list.
Yeah.
Now, my next question I was going to ask you is, who influenced you to become an actress, and how many years were you in the acting business?
I was influenced by all kinds of things, really. And in a way, I might even say like it was something that I came to on my own. In high school, I would get parts in the school plays, but not major lead roles. And then in college, I was a theater major, but still at graduation, it was a very small theater program. And at graduation, I thought I was going to be just like a lot of the other theater majors and just like go find a regular job because acting is too hard.
Right.
But after graduation, I did try to find a regular job, like a 9 to 5, and I didn't have any luck doing that. It was like, the recession. It was 2009. And in the meantime, I met a few friends in the local theater scene where I lived, and it just went from there. I decided I do want to do it because it's like a challenge and really fun for me. I like the chance to get out there and be someone completely different from myself sometimes. I think that's enticing to me. So I've been doing it since graduating, so that's been 8 years.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
No. One easy question I forgot to ask you was, were you ever part of a sorority, or you were never into that stuff?
No. That was big at my school, but I wasn't really into it. I'm not big on the party scene, I guess.
Yeah,
I like
not
to go
missing anything.
early.
Oh yeah, I didn't mean to interrupt. I apologize.
No, that's fine.
I was just saying that you're not missing anything.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I hope not.
What about, let's see, trying to find new subjects, trying to mix it up. What were some of your favorite sites? Now, this is going into it. I was going to save social media for a couple minutes, but what were some of the websites that helped you get into acting? Was it Backstage? Was it New York Casting? Was it LA Casting? What websites helped you get the roles that you're in now, and what would you recommend for other people?
That's a really good question. I've been in both New York and LA for acting, and I would say that in New York, I got a lot of auditions through Actors Access and from knowing people. Just like I was in an acting class, and that teacher knows someone who makes local commercials, so that brought me into the auditions for that. And in LA, I would definitely recommend LA Casting. it's awesome because the non-union stuff there, like the commercials or web series, they all use that site. And what actually I would also recommend, if there are any actors watching, is definitely, it's a little bit of an investment, but make sure your pictures, you have a few pictures on there on your profile, and video. Video is really crucial because someone can bring you in if they know what you sound like. And I've been on the other side too. I've cast a few things now, and I've seen how a video like really helps the person get to know you. So.
No, absolutely. And now, the next question I was going to ask you, without jumping around, don't mind me. I try to hide my disability, but sometimes it does makes me have brain farts.
That's all right.
Also, I'm distracted by your beauty too, so yeah, I'm a bad fart. Anyway, like I said, supporting a good cause, making a new friend out of it. But what I was going to ask you is social media. Does social media dictate in your career if you should get this part? And does your following, the whole thing is social media, can it make you or break you? So with your following on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, does that dictate you getting work or not in the entertainment world? Or is it, okay, it's nice, but it's not important?
A little bit of both. Like I have less than 500 followers on any platform. But there have been times when I think it's important for me to just continually post things, because then it shows anyone who happens to be scrolling through their feed, they'll be like, oh yeah, Mary's doing that acting thing, or like they know that I'm active, they know that I'm where I am. Like people who I didn't post for a while after I moved back to New York, so no one knew. They're like, what? I would have asked you to audition for me. I didn't know you were here. And if I had posted on Facebook a bunch of stuff like just moving back in or whatever, then maybe that would have changed things. So, and it's easy for people to find you that way. Anyone, like people that are looking for me, the first place they're going to go to is probably Facebook. They're not going to know the name of my website or whatever. So I think it's important, but I also don't continually like post and things. I don't try to get new followers because sometimes I think, well, I don't know. I think it requires a lot of work if you want to get it to be very influential. So yeah, I think it's good. It's helpful.
No, I agree with you.
It's not my priority, but it does come in handy.
Okay, so on the subject, what is your priority? What do you have? Do you have a list of things to do with? Say, you graduate high school, you graduate college, you're now an actress, and you can be a model for that matter. Maybe you are. Are you a model?
I don't typically do that now. I mean, maybe one or two things I've ended up being kind of a model for something, but it's not my main thing.
So what is your main goal?
Yeah, good question. My main goal right now is to have an awesome season of theater. I'm currently producing a staged reading at the historical farm park where I work. And I'm also going to be in a new play. The first one's in October, and then I'm in a new play somewhere else in November. I want to have a lot of fun with that. Then, long term, I would really like to, for 2018, to get my first audition for a New York-based TV show.
Oh, so nice.
That's my goal. There are a lot of steps before that, but I want to start taking those steps.
Hey, you help me, I help you. Whatever way I can help you. Now, the first question I was going to ask you, just throwing it out there, for me, I use LinkedIn, Stage 32, Facebook, Twitter. I'm starting to use Instagram. So what were the 5 if you had to pick the top 5, what websites would you recommend? And my follow-up question is, out of how long have you been acting, and let's just do the social media first. So, say you're in my position, and you had to pick 5 websites that actually impacted your career. What would those 5 be?
Okay. I think I did learn a lot from Backstage.com in the very beginning, because I was in New York, and Backstage has all the Broadway stuff. Right. So I learned a lot from looking through those papers. Through those listings. Backstage.com, Playbill.com has a lot of interesting stuff. Facebook for keeping in touch with people. Actors Access. And LA Casting. Yeah.
So those 5 helped you get to where you are today, for people out there?
Yeah, I'm trying to think. I mean, there might be more. Each one has, like, I'm sure a small but crucial role, but those are the ones that I'm thinking of now.
Now, before we take the commercial break, the last question I was going to ask you is, out of all the plays that you performed in and all the auditions, what were some of your favorites, and which ones did you say, I wish I could have done better, but it served its purpose?
I always wish I could have done better, or I always think, gosh, if I did that now, I'd be so good. It's funny, there was this one role I had in a Neil LaBute play called Fat Pig, and I was the role of a somewhat resentful, jilted ex-lover or ex-girlfriend of the main guy, and I had a scene where I was really frustrated with him, and I just tell him, like, and in reality, he's not really being super awful. I'm being a little bit unreasonable, but I said, like, I hate you so much, and I stormed off, and I didn't even think I did that good a job, but apparently I was so, I had so much conviction for her feelings, and the audience applauded as I left the stage for that scene, which was, like, unreal. I was like, I can't believe that happened. It was a good feeling. And then, let's see, another role I had a lot of fun with was a commercial where I got to play a spokesperson for an advertising agency, and the way they did it was very stylized as, like, a 1950s ad, and so I got to be, like, a smooth talking 1950s like, I don't know, brassy, sassy woman, and had my hair done and, like, red lipstick and all of that, and they made me look really cool. So that was a lot of fun, because I enjoy doing things where I get to play dress up and then the 50s, like that. Who doesn't love that? So I got to embody that, which was nice.
Yeah, absolutely. It's like that funny video, the three women that, forget what was the point of it, but they're in the car and they wanted to show you the music over from the 20s to now. So first they dress up like the 20s and the 30s, 40s, and on and on.
Wow. That's cool. I should look at that.
Yeah, when I find that, I would definitely send it to you.
Yeah.
It was really funny just to see how they dressed and everything from centuries.
Right.
But with that being said, we're going to take a quick commercial break. And when we come back, I'm going to pass the show over to you.
Hooray!
Back to the Keith Andrew Network. This is 390. Here is the beautiful and talented Ms. Roberts. And I just want to say thank you for being a guest on my show.
Again, it's my pleasure. I'm really, really glad to be here.
Oh, absolutely. Now, with the last 16 minutes left, I'm going to pass the show over to you. Was there anything you want to talk about, anything you wanted to promote. This is your time after all.
Awesome. Well, I'm curious because people ask me a lot, like, don't you get nervous talking to, or being on stage or being in a movie or on film with everyone watching you? So I know my answer for that, but I'm curious, what about you? Like, do you ever get nervous just talking to strangers on your, and putting your show on the internet?
Well, ladies first. I'd like to hear how you handle it.
Oh, well, I don't do a talk show. I get to be other characters, or other people. So, like, I don't. I think I'm not as nervous because it's not me. Like, if they think, oh, how mean is that or something, it's like, well, it's because my character is mean. So it's fun to kind of just go there and also to see what I can do with, like, maybe I can affect somebody in some way that watches it. Like, maybe they're going to be laughing or crying or something because of something I did, and that's fun.
No, absolutely. I agree with you. Just need a quick drink. You can get up and drink if you need something.
That's okay. I'm content right now.
Hey, anything can happen live, right?
Yeah.
So, to answer your question, the reason I do the show and how I feel when interacting with people, I basically do it as a form of, mostly as a form of flattery, but I pretty much do it as a form of, I can't even talk because I hide my disability. Okay, so I basically do the show as a form of therapy for myself. So basically, I suffer from depression and social anxiety and panic attacks. And for the longest time, I was using my disability as a crutch. To say, I can't do this, I can't do that. You went to college and you have this great career. You're a 10 and I'm a 5, so if I take one step forward and I mess up, it's like 2 steps back. And like I said, you can probably do laps around me because you're more talented than I am. But for me, I do the show because I want to show people. But I'm not the same person who I was 10 years ago. A lot of people like to joke that I'm socially awkward, and I am socially awkward, but if you push on me long enough and get me talking, I will feel comfortable. When I first meet someone, it's like, hey, how are you? And then I just completely become a schizo cat. It's like, okay, what's going to happen now? Oh, boy, boy, boy. But when I first started my show, I was just doing 72 phone interviews. Don't ask me why. It seemed like a good idea at the time. But I got people from Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. I got people from Spider-Man. And I was still having panic attacks. I was still having some social anxiety. And people were saying to me, you have this great format. Why aren't you as big or bigger than you portray yourself to be? Why don't you have this? Why don't you have that? It's like, that's great. Would you like to help me? I said, no, if you can't do it yourself, and it's not meant to be. So I used to hang up. It's like, yeah, thanks a lot, asshole. I never used to say that, but that's what I used to say when I hung up. One person said to me, do the show over, but try something a little bit different. And I was like, well, say if we were talking on the phone, I would still have social anxiety. I'm not really a big fan of talking on the phone. So when I would do the new format, I was like, well, what better therapy for myself is to actually sit down one-on-one with a person like yourself and just shoot the breeze and just talk. And I'm like, well, that's pretty interesting. One, I don't have to pay for therapy because I have this. But it's since I started this show about 2013 in Jewish community, the number 13 is a lucky number. And, I'm not that religious, but I'm not saying 13 is a lucky number. And for me, it holds up to that. Because, my mom was born on the 13th. I started my show on the 13th. I've been doing this for 4.5 years. I'm up to season 5. And, well, season 4, actually. I will soon be starting season 5. In total, I did about 700 interviews. Long story about that. And so basically, it's a learning experience. And it's at the same time, every interview, every episode, you're going to see different sides of me. And you're going to see different personalities of me. And it's just, the more I do something, the better and better you're going to get at it. And the same thing, if turning around on you now, when you started your career, I bet you were like starstruck. But now that you're constantly on stage or in your free time, you stand in front of the camera, and now you tune everything out. Like if we were doing a live show, I wouldn't be focusing on the crowd, or I would make sure you're not focusing on the crowd. It's just you and me. Yes, a crowd's in the background, but to us, that's just background noise. And as you would know, as you're an on-stage performer, it's between you and the people on stage. And the idea is to tune out the audience, because if you focus on the audience, you're going to feel like, what am I supposed to do? Am I supposed to act, or am I supposed to please the crowd?
Right.
So what is your opinion about that? Do you agree or do you disagree?
Yeah, I think if you're doing the best performance you can do is to pretend you're not in front of an audience. And whether it's like I'm in a scene where I'm playing someone who works in a coffee shop, then I'm in a coffee shop. I'm not in front of, 100 people. Or if I'm doing an interview with you, it's just you and me talking, and try not to... Well, if it's supposed to be entertaining, I will take in the audience in that way. But, that part has never been too challenging for me. But I want to say what you said earlier, learning more about your background and everything. It's really touching that you're able to share that about what you go through and what you used to go through. And I don't think that you could say that I'm a 10 and you're a 5. I don't know if you just were joking or not, but, I don't think we're measured that way. Like, you have so many talents yourself. You reached out to me on Facebook in a message asking someone you didn't know, to be on your show. I have a lot of challenges with reaching out to people I don't know. So, just wanted you to know that.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Hey, you open up to me, I open up to you. Now, with my last subject to the show, I do have a couple of questions off the air. Let's just do one thing. I've been reaching out recently. I have my main Facebook, where I would add you to it. And I have my 2 throwaway accounts. My first one is the backup page, so that's where I introduce myself to actors, actresses, and models. And then I have my other throwaway where I just add random people, and I say, hey, if they interest me, or I, think they're someone that I can connect with, I go and do it. But you're not going to connect with every single person that you come across.
No.
I came across this one guy who's a fighter, and he said to me, yeah, I like what you do, but I can't do it. I want nothing to do with it. I'm like, okay, so it's either you're supportive or you're not, because he sounds like a hypocrite. Oh, I like what you do, but I don't want nothing to do with it. And the other guy made a comment where I shared my work, says, oh, I want to show you an example of my work. And he answered back, what is this shit? And I was like, well, it's my talk show. I take it very personally, and it ain't shit. Okay, maybe if you didn't know what it was, then, but still, I was reaching out, and so the point is, you need to hold yourself to a higher standard. It's 50-50 in life. Some people you got to become friends with. Mm-hmm. Some people you're not. Some people you got to interact with. You got to make a connection. And some people are like, all right, see you, whatever. don't let the door hit you on the way out. So it's pretty much everything's cut in half. So for me, my biggest problem is I kind of walk around with my emotions on my sleeve. So now I walk around with, like I said, freedom of speech, the I don't give a shit attitude, saying, this is me, this is who I am, you're either gotta accept me for who I am, because if you try to put a mask on, and you try to please every single person, friend, family, whoever, you're only going to set yourself up for failure. So I don't do that anymore. I just say, this is who I am, this is what I do, you're either going to be supportive or don't let the door hit you on the way out. And for me, I'll admit I'm a little bit of a coward. When I was in high school, I used to like a girl. I give you an example. If we went to school together, and this is the difference between me and now, then and now. Hypothetically, if we went to school together, I wouldn't have walked up to you. I would say, oh, we go to school together. Maybe you're on Facebook or so we have a friend in common. Then I would use Facebook or MySpace as an icebreaker and say, hey, I came across your profile. My name is Keith. It's nice to meet you. And because it gave me a reason to engage with somebody. Right. Now that I have a talk show, like I used to work over in North Face. When I worked over in North Face, I had an excuse to walk up to somebody and say, hey, if you need something, I used to hold my badge, let me know. Because I used to hide behind things. Now that I'm not the same person, I have, like the talk show, now I have a reason saying, hey, my name's Keith Andrew, I'm a talk show host. Not saying, oh, you're that creepy guy that has the LED show. So there's a reason for what things I do, and I'm not always going to be everyone's cup of tea. I'm not always going to rub people the right way, or I usually rub people the wrong way. So it's pretty much like for people out there, it's nice in a way if you have social anxiety, you use things to your advantage, saying, hey, if you have a fear of being rejected, I don't know, you know what I'm trying to say, is that basically, you're trying to set yourself up, but you don't want to set yourself up for failure, but you're trying to cushion the blow, if that makes any sense.
Right. It's hard you don't want to cushion yourself too much, because then you won't branch out as far as you are.
No, absolutely. Now, I do have a couple questions for you off the air, but my last subject for you, and the last question is, I'm a big fan of Bill O'Reilly, so going on the record, when I first approached you to be a guest on my talk show, what was your honest opinion, honest reaction, and honest opinion when I first approached you? And after doing the interview, how do you feel now?
Cool. I think when you first approached me, I was confused because I don't normally get messages from people that I don't know personally. So I was wary for sure, and I looked into your work, and I thought, oh, this is something that I think is for a good. You're doing it for good. It wasn't something random and out of the blue. It was something that you'd been working on. And then now after the show, I think, like I told you before, I'm touched to be part of it and to know you, and so glad that, for me, I'm glad that I got a chance to hear your story, and yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Now I'm looking forward to part 2 down the road. And I just want to say thank you for taking the time to do the interview with me.
No problem. And best of luck. here we go. Like 390. That's awesome.